Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go! Do you have absolute certainty on how you go from hello to yes on what you're looking for?
Sean is a master. He teaches. It's not just about sharing the formula with you. It's about making sure that we learn.
I went from $100,000 in debt from law school to having no money and starting my own law firm on my credit card to selling it 4 years later.
Sean and I, we co-created massive victories in 2 unwinnable jury trials, which are recognized nationally now as top 100 jury verdicts.
To be even on the same track with you, who I respect and admire and love with all my heart.
Never again submit. You're not better and you're not less than any human on earth.
When you shared with us about the Unblinded process and the mastery sales training, I just went, wow.
Sean will gain proximity to the most influential and powerful people. He will find out how he can grow their business, how he can help them personally. But the third thing that he does is the most important. Sean serves without an expectation of getting anything in return.
You have very, very high-performing colleagues.
22 years ago, you transformed my life as you did all these people's lives over the course of time. And I couldn't be more grateful. Let's hear it for Tony Robbins.
I don't see him as a lawyer, and I don't see him as a blind person. Someone who has subjugated his ego, who has taught me what serving really looks like.
You have this incredible ability to just have unconditional love for everyone, and that is just an incredible gift.
The moment you have been waiting for.
The American Blind Association is the first new face and voice of that association since Helen Keller.
Formula bore formulas, which is exactly what I've learned from Sean. It's a language-based predictable model. We will have over 300 new sales meetings this month.
This superpower in the world that is attainable for you is the ability to influence people. If you believe that, say yes. If you believe that, say yes. Do you think that worked?
Ricci, I do believe that worked. We're ready to rock and roll this thing on Mastery Monday. Who do we have the honor of having here?
Sean, first I was wondering if you would tell us about the one and only Bella Verita. What do you say?
No, I refuse. All right, fine. This woman started selling crafts on her front lawn as an 8-year-old, progressed to being a 7-figure earner in this. By the way, Bill, where the heck are we? I don't even know where we are. It just magically appeared here.
Magically appeared. There's some strange hotel.
Wait, you're sitting in a higher chair than me. Yeah. This is definitely not happening. We're switching.
No, because you're taller than me. That's not fair.
Switch.
I just would then publicly, you're making me sit lower than you.
Yes, that's true.
That's what's happening.
So, and we went out to build a 7-figure business in the space of network marketing, an unbelievably difficult and challenging thing to do. Progressed to being you set that up on purpose. Progressed to being the #1 business broker in the great state of Nevada, youngest person ever to do it, first woman ever to do it, and now speaks on stages all over the place, tours the country, Caribbean islands, is a certified scuba diver. The one, the only co-host of Real Raw, Bella Verita.
I think my fun fact today is I think I'm one of few people that can say I co-host a show that's been in like Necker Island, Grand Cayman Islands, and now somewhere middle of nowhere, Florida, and a hotel on the side of the freeway. I'm sure I'm one of the only co-hosts that have ever gotten to say that.
That is true. And on Tuesday, we'll be having this show from Tony Robbins' backyard. That will be an additional fun fact.
That is an additional fun fact.
I didn't say Tony Beyond, but we'll be in his backyard as we have the Alliance Weekend at Tony. So Gina, we got this amazing woman. And who else do we have here?
Joining us from Manhattan, New York, the partner in charge of forensics, valuation, and litigation support group for the New York region at Markham LLP. Please, everyone, join me in welcoming Gary Rosen to the Real Raw.
Thanks for being here. And what's a fun fact about you, Gary?
After having 3 daughters, we now have 3 grandsons. So there was a God up there laughing.
That is amazing.
Next, the energy, the heart. This woman had some fun to share at the beginning of the show, for sure. Member of CSG Law, practices with the firm's intellectual property group and equity, diversity, and inclusion committee, and is a board member, Sean, of the New Jersey Theater Alliance. Please, everyone, join me in welcoming Neha Bhalani to the Real Raw.
Thank you. Welcome to the party.
Thank you. This is fun.
And what's a fun fact about you, Neha?
Well, I guess I'll share what I shared with everyone else before, which was that my law school entrance essay, when you apply to law school, I wrote about how the word lawyer comes from the Aztec word for testicle, and made a comparison between, having some balls and being able to be a lawyer. So there you go.
Neha, did this woman to my left, did she put you up to that?
I might have shared
She did mention that I should share it, so I shared it.
Yeah, no, that is fun.
Did you know that fact?
No, and I'm not even talking about that fact, but yes, Neha.
Next up, joining us from NYC also, successful on Wall Street and in real estate, most proud though of raising his daughter. He's the president and owner of Philanna Capital. Everyone join me in welcoming Randy Reis to The Real Raw.
Well, thank you, Randy. And what's your fun fact, please?
Let's see. So I once boxed in Madison Square Garden.
No way. Who did you?
I also got knocked out in Madison Square Garden, but that's another story.
Next, this man from Roseland is committed and passionate about mentoring and educating. He's a partner at Connel, Foley, co-chair at Early Settlement Panel for the Essex County. Everyone, please join me in welcoming Anthony LaPorta to The Real Raw.
Anthony, thanks for being here. Thank you. Great. And what's your fun fact, please, Anthony?
So I was at a charity event at Yogi Berra Stadium years ago, and I was sitting in the dugout, and Pete Rose sat down next to me and started chatting. And when he was called out to the field, he handed me his coffee and asked me to sit there and hold it for him until he returned.
Coming from Wayne, New Jersey, first and foremost, he's the proud father. He also proudly represents the underdog often, partner at Scura Wigfield Heyer, $1 Million Advocates Forum, certified, Sean, by the Supreme Court as a civil trial attorney. Please, everyone, join me in welcoming John Scura to The Real Raw.
And how about your fun fact?
I was blessed with 3 daughters. I have 4 kids, and I couldn't produce a boy, so I have an adopted son who I consider them all my own. But I heard God has a good sense of humor, and I had 3 girls, and I had to bring in a boy to help me.
Gita.
Next, our first and only female judge, Sean, joining us from the left coast. She's a national team builder with Transamerica Financial Advisor. Please, everyone, join me in welcoming Leia Siegel to The Real Raw.
Leia, how are you?
Amazing. Sean, how are you?
Amazing. So grateful for you being here, and please share your fun fact.
Okay, so very much in common with a lot of people on here, which is so cool. I was born in Brooklyn. My oldest son, who's turning 28 this month, was also born in Brooklyn. I do have 3 daughters. My fun fact is that I became a grandma at 45 years old 2 years ago.
Also joining us from the almost fully West Coast, Denver, Colorado. This man ran a team of over 60,000, Sean, members in Korea, over 30 years of training and speaking, and is an international trainer for America's #1 insurance marketing association. Please, everyone, join me in welcoming Patty McCracken to The Real Raw.
How about your fun fact?
Well, a recent fun fact is that my wife and I struggled to always have children. And so a little girl kind of blessed our life a few months ago. So we're going through a kin adoption. And it's been fabulous. I mean, from all the process, from the state level to the, judicial level. But that's my fun fact for today.
G Money, we are grateful for you. Beautiful job today. And we're going to say, mwah, peace out from the multiverse. Thank you for everything that you do. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. It was a remarkable gift. It was a pleasure to be there. Love seeing you all. Ciao for now.
Thank you guys for being here. A little bit of fun, introduced people, acknowledged them, validated some things, got to know each other a little bit. But here's what we're really up to. What we're really up to is the fact that I think, could be wrong, but I think that influence is the only attainable superpower. And when you take influence with integrity and you know where to apply it and emotionally how to get yourself to use it, then we can actually solve the biggest problems in the world, all the way down to building our businesses, creating scale, creating time, freedom, and impact. So it is this concept that has been the study of my life for 2.5 decades. How does human influence actually work? And not just like, oh, shake somebody's hand, look them in the eye and smile. Like, what does it really look like, especially in a complicated world where people are inundated with messaging and proposals and social media nonstop, continuously? How do we stop the madness? How do we open up listening for people who are bombarded and overwhelmed with pitches and things that people are saying? So we talk about this not being a space of pitching, hooking, closing, but instead of integrous influence. So with that said, Gary, to illustrate that, have a little fun, like gamify it. Bella will be anybody you want her to be. She could be an ideal client. She could be anybody that you'd be seeking a yes from that would matter to you. You're like, seeking a yes from? What do you mean? Like, hello to yes? Like, what is this? Well, we fancy influence being about yes. It could be about no, but we're typically seeking to cause people to say yes to something. Even if we're telling them they should say no, then we're seeking a yes to a no. So, Gary, any thoughts on who you'd like Bella to be?
Why don't you be yourself, Bella?
Ooh, I love when people do that.
I like being myself.
Can you be yourself?
I am great at being myself.
All right, take us in.
And you take the big chair with you. I see how this is.
Take us in.
Hello, this is Bella.
Hi, Bella. How are you?
I'm excellent, Gary. Thank you so much for calling.
I just wanted to check in with you. I was referred to you by a friend of mine, and he said that you might be interested in working together. I don't know what your needs are, but I want to hear a little bit more about you to see if I could help you somehow.
Yeah. I mean, I remember him telling me a little bit about you as well. And, you know, we have 3 enterprises that we run under Callagee Enterprises. And we have Unblinded, we have Callagee Law, we also have a financial company. And under, you know, Callagee Law, we, you know, you might have heard we have a couple top 100 national jury verdicts. Occasionally we have, you know, we do a lot of business litigation. And, you know, occasionally we look for people that can, you know, help us on the business litigation side.
Okay. So do each of these 3 different ventures interact with one another? They standalone entities, they siloed?
They do interact. They're all individual. They're all standalone, but they all work together as well.
And
They're all standalone entities.
and what's your involvement with each one? What do you do for the various entities?
So my role is I'm part of Callagee Enterprises, so more on like the business development side, working with how all 3 companies interact together.
Okay, so tell me a little bit more about that, how they interact.
So yeah, so I would say, you know, Unblinded is our coaching and training company. We primarily work with people that are service providers, attorneys, financial people, attorneys, financial people, and in the medical. So that's our coaching and training company. So when people need litigation issues, obviously those things go to Callagee Law. A lot of times when it comes to financial, you know, people need to get their finances in order. Insurances, things like that goes through our insurance company. And then we have several other different partnerships that we work on as well, what we call ecosystem partners, that we look to, you know, help companies grow and scale.
So it sounds like in addition to those 3 entities, you have your hands in a number of other areas that can benefit your clients on a mutually beneficial manner, both you and the organizations.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay, great. Excellent.
We believe, Gary, that 1 + 1 = 1 trillion relationships. And the things that people miss most in business is how really they can work together to build and scale relationships.
Terrific. So how could I help you? I mean, you know, I'm sure you've heard of Markham. We're a well-branded global international accounting firm. I'm sure that with your reach and your qualifications, you know, there's various needs that arise from time to time.
There are definitely needs, and I would love, and like, if you could just tell me in like 10 seconds, because I do got to run, but I would just, you know, love to know, because we got a lot of CPAs and a lot of, you know, accounting offices that, you know, always want us to work with them.
Absolutely.
Why would we want to work with you, Gary, and Markham?
I'm gonna tell you 2 reasons. Number 1, we get results. And number 2, we're never going to embarrass you. The relationships you have been built over time, and we're going to keep those relationships intact, and you'll never be embarrassed by any of the work that we do or services we provide.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, Gary. Maybe we set up a longer conversation. The boss here at Callagee is like coming into my space, and I think I got to run.
Who's going next?
Miss Neha.
So Neha, thank you so much. And who would you like Bella to be?
How about Bella is a jewelry artist making jewelry out of recycled straws. And her business is blowing up. And I got her number from a friend who was like, my friend is in this business. She's an artist. She doesn't know what to do with her intellectual property.
Well, this is beautiful.
This sounds fun. This is crazy because I just saw at a salon in Texas, they were selling handbags that were made out of like plastic grocery bags.
Whoa.
And we just released a turtle on the Grand Cayman trip back into the wild as well.
Yes.
So loving the
Well, we know straws are a big problem, so.
huge.
For
So
sure.
please take
All
us in.
right. Hello, this is Bella.
Bella, I got your number from Jennifer. She said that I should give you a call. She told me a little bit about your business. I don't know if she told you I'd be calling, but my name is Neha and I'm a partner at CSG Law in their IP department.
Yes, I was expecting your call. Thank you so much for calling.
Yeah, great. So I would love to know about your business. I know I did some Googling and I found you on social media. Your stuff is beautiful. I would just love to learn about your business and your vision for your business and sort of where you're at. And, you know, the stuff is awesome. And I would just love to learn more about you and how you got to where you are.
Well, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. And yeah, I mean, I got, super passionate about the ocean. I recently became a certified scuba diver and became super present to the straw problem and how that is killing our animals in the ocean. And I wanted to do something about it. And so I had this, idea. I've seen all these things like made out of recycles, like recycled books. And so I thought, there's got to be something we could do with all of these straws. And I figured out, how to be, weaving them together and doing different things with them. And, we started creating handbags and, wallets and other functional things that people would need out of these recycled straws. And, now we just want to see what more we could do here.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you had have you thought about the implications of any of your intellectual property? I know you have this really cool brand name, Saved by Straws. And I was just wondering, I saw there are some things out there that look like they could be knocking you off and was just curious if you had looked into that. I know I'm an art history person, so.
That was a thing. I don't know, anything, about that. I just kind of just started as a passion project and then more and more people kept hearing about us. And I think that's why Jennifer suggested I talk to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we are a full service IP team and we can help you with anything from changing your trademarks to helping you, we'll send out demand letters on your behalf to stop the knockoffs and any of that kind of stuff. But first, I'm just curious what your goals are with your business and sort of where you see yourself and to see if this is something that is, a good investment for you to protect.
Yeah, I think at this point, Neha, is I didn't even know we would get this far. And so, I have a big belief in faith and wherever God takes this. And if it's meant to, grow into something big, I definitely want to make sure it's protected.
Okay, wonderful. Have you spoken to any IP attorneys? Do you have an idea of what sort of assets you'd be looking to protect? I'm happy to walk you through everything, but I don't want to assume that, you don't know what you need.
Yeah, I would probably definitely, need some help walking through some of those things.
Okay, wonderful. Do you have some time now or do you want to connect at a later time to go through a proper meeting and I can give you a proposal for the types of services you might be in need of?
Let's definitely connect at a later time before my boss comes back in.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You are ridiculous. Yeah, great job. Appreciate you very much. And let's see what the judges have to say. So who's going first?
Ooh, let's start with our beautiful, I got a cramp in my leg. Leia.
Yeah, so Leia, what we're gonna do is who's Leia giving feedback to?
Let's start with Leia giving feedback to Gary.
Okay, so 30 seconds of feedback, 15 seconds what worked, 15 seconds on what could be optimized. Gonna score it on a scale of 1 to 10.
I give Gary a 10. I felt he really was a great listener. He was also hitting upon something like a hot button when he was explaining how I want, why choose us? And he answered that really well.
Let's go with Anthony, your feedback for Neha.
So Neha, I thought you did a great job. You you came across with initially starting with a soft touch, right? There was no hard sell. You wanted to find out a little bit more about the business. You asked some good questions.
And your score for Neha is?
I'm giving you a 10.
Awesome. So let's go with Patty. Patty, how about your 30 seconds of feedback for Gary?
How to give and Gary, I mean, 10 is definitely up there. What I loved was how he just kind of asked, he first framed the conversation of, what he was looking for. I think he asked the right questions to identify, kind of what the client could be offered, and so, I mean, he shared a lot of, it was kind of a soft approach. It wasn't direct. It was just able to ask the right questions to elicit the right information so he could kind of guide the conversation that way. So I would go with a 9.9.
Let's go with John. Your 30 seconds of feedback for Neha. Neha, sorry.
Neha, I think you did a great job. I give you a 10 too. You were, I described the same thing. That soft approach, which is nice. I don't like to be oversold or have an aggressive salesperson. And I really connected with you, and you were interested in the person, not trying to be interesting. And that's important. You really were asking great questions and really loved your approach.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. And your score for Neha is?
10.
10. That's right. Awesome. And we lost Randy in the multiverse, and the team is out finding him.
Okay.
So I think at this point, shall we
That's
just
all,
retire?
everybody gave scores?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So yes, this is the part where Bella is going to put me on the hot seat.
Sean, I give him a hard time because, he's got a couple, top
Yeah.
one. Well, he's only like one of two
Stop,
attorneys
stop.
that has won.
Stop. So she likes to torture me and put me on the spot, and let's not even try to be nice about this in any way, shape, or form. And so here's what the deal is. You get to assign this to me, or you get to pass it off to somebody else.
All right, so I get to create a scenario here.
Yeah, and you get to create the scenario, and Sean will be the person going from hello to yes with you or somebody else here in the group.
I'd like to create a scenario in which I meet someone who they work in the medical field. They have a lot of student loan debt. They're exhausted from working long hours.
All right, perfect. Let's do it.
All right, awesome. So how about Leia, then your name is Mary. Does that work?
Mary's perfect.
Okay. So hi, Mary. This is Leia. Do you have a moment?
I have a quick moment. I got my shift starting in a minute.
Okay, awesome. So listen, I know we don't know each other at all. This is not a sales call, but I do have something that might interest you if you're not like absolutely thrilled about the work that you're doing in nursing. I do work in placing people. I do work in recruiting. I don't want to waste your time. If that's not interesting, I completely understand. But the only reason it shouldn't be interesting, again, is if you're 100% thrilled and excited to be going into your next shift. How does that resonate for you or not, Mary?
I mean, I love what I do. I went to school for this. This is my field of expertise. I am tired. I do wish I had more time with my kids, but I can't see myself learning a whole new industry. So is it in nursing? What are we talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it would not be in nursing. So understand that, but do you have 2 more minutes? Is it worth hearing me out for 2 minutes?
Go ahead. How did you get my number?
I actually go on LinkedIn and I look for people like yourselves that I think might be in professions where they're not meeting their financial needs fully and they might be a little bit exhausted. And I talk to people about opportunities and possibilities that I think might be in alignment with their heart and where they're going.
All right, you have my attention.
Yeah, no, thank you. So Mary, so what is the mission vision? I hear children. How old are your children, by the way?
4, 6, 8, and 10.
Wow, congratulations on that. I mean, that's an amazing plan. And if you could have it all your way, what would happen that would be any different? I'm hearing that, you love your kids, you love what you're doing. There's a lot of intensity that goes on in the schedule. What could be different or better for you, if anything?
I mean, I don't like missing their sports activities. I don't like having to get babysitters when I'm taking, the night shift and can't be there in the morning when they wake up. It's very stressful. However, I do believe in what I do. I know we need more nurses. I don't want to not be in the nursing field. A magic wand would be, I'm not as tired. I can handle it all. Real magic wand, I don't really have to work. But I know right now we need a dual income. My husband's income alone is not enough.
Yeah, No, absolutely. Well, thank you for that. Would it be okay? And what I'm hearing you say, love what you do, believe in it, know there's a huge need for it, but you'd like to have a little bit more freedom of choice. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Awesome. So in the final minute or so, could I just share a little bit about what I do and see if it makes sense to have a longer conversation some other time? Because I know you got to move along the shift.
Yes.
Okay. So what I do is I support people in stepping into an area of the financial world. In the same way that you help people and serve people massively with their physical needs, maybe you're present to it, maybe you're not, but there's a massive financial challenge that exists in our country and the world. Over 90% of Americans live from paycheck to paycheck. We're in one of the most complicated financial times in history, and that industry has a wanting and a need for education, for people with integrity, and people to do more. The thing that may be the most interesting is you can, over time, create space where you have residual income. You build client base, you do certain things, and it becomes easier and easier and easier over time to create that income and make choices with what you do with that time otherwise. The industry that you're in, a beautiful, incredible heart-centered industry, requires your time to work those hours to be compensated. The work in the space I'm talking about, I'm not going to lie to you, Mary, it's not easy in the beginning. There is some learning to do. But if any of that resonates and makes sense, that you can have a vision of having the freedom of choice that you're describing, I would love to invest some time and have a conversation with you. But either way, thank you for giving me the 3 minutes. How does that resonate or not to have a follow-up conversation?
You know, right now, timing for me is kind of crazy, but I really know that you're right, absolutely right about families struggling financially, paycheck to paycheck, not understanding their finances. I actually have some friends that are nurses who are not moms, and this might be right up their alley. Would it be okay if I connect the two of you?
Listen, absolutely unequivocally, yes. And thank you. I appreciate that. And I'd love to set up a time, out of roll. So Leia, how did I do in the beautiful space of recruiting cold over the phone?
It's like you're talking my language. You're doing what I do. So it's awesome. And you were painting a picture of reality. We live in a crazy world of crisis, financial crisis, and it's its own pandemic. And you said it well. I loved it.
Well, thank you for that. Neha, how did that resonate or not for you?
I thought that you picked up on the things that she said she had struggles with, and you immediately wove them into a conversation to make it feel more compelling and personalized, and that you really understood what she was feeling. You know, if you're a recruiter and you call me, I'd probably have a conversation, even though I absolutely love what I'm doing, right? So I thought you did a really nice job with picking up on what she was saying and making it relevant to her.
Oh, thank you for that. And Anthony, thank you for passing the scenario along to this amazing.
Thank you.
How did that feel for you, Anthony?
I want to become a nurse. So I thought you did a great job. You know, you listened, you know, and you took the answers and you molded it just like Neha said, you know, into the next question. You were very deferential. You respected their time. You gave her all the opportunity to say, no, I'm really not interested, or I don't have the time. So the fact that you were so respectful, I thought that was really a great way to go about it.
Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate it very much. And how'd I do, boss?
I think you did absolutely fantastic. I love what Anthony said. You know, one of the things that we talk about at Influence Mastery, one of the 12 indispensable elements is level 5 listening. And, you know, it's one of my favorite things that you teach, because sometimes I think you listen to what people think. And because when you level 5 listen, you know, really makes people feel heard, seen, and understood, which was demonstrated here.
Yeah, well, thank you. Did a great job. We joke, we laugh, but the fun and magic we're bringing to the world is something that's an incredible gift. Yes. So, and as Leia was talking about, somebody loving what they do in nursing, I think that's how we feel about the space of human acceleration in marketing, selling, managing, leading, recruiting, fundraising. It's a complicated world out there, and we're taught to sit down and shut up, or we're taught to like bull our way through, like blow the door open. And I don't think either approach is even close to optimal. And the energy of this group today truly felt like in that heart-centered space. You know, when we deal with a lot of professionals, a lot of different people, every show is recorded. So you could always say, hey, they say this to everybody. This was a beautiful blend of brilliance and wisdom and like heart-centered empathy and integrity. like there was no ego, no significance dynamics that were present here. It was really an honor, and thank you guys.
Yeah.
Anthony, thank you for being here today. Great job. Have a ton of respect for what you do. Please, how was your time with us today?
I think it was great. It certainly is well worth time to get to know everyone here. Kind of took me out of my, typical daily routine. And it's always great to meet nice professionals.
Yeah, nice. And thank you for everything that you do. I'm present to your background, your intro, and you're doing beautiful work in the world, obviously, both in accelerating your career, your firm, and also the contribution things that you do. So thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Who would you like to?
Let's hear from Patty.
Yeah, Patty, please. Thank you for what you're doing. I love the energy. I love the commentary about building a 60,000 person team. That's a unbelievably unique fun fact. Please, how was your time with us today, Patty?
Today was great. I think it's always powerful when you're networking with like-minded people. I think I got a lot of value out of today just because everyone was very authentic and very genuine. I don't think anyone is necessarily asking anyone for anything here. And so when you can come together in that energy, as you keep mentioning, I think great things can happen. So it was definitely a great time, and I look forward to promoting Unblinded.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you, Patty. That's very kind of you. Neha, please, how are you? How was your experience today? And you did a fantastic job. I love, there was a wit and a fun energy to what you're doing. And I am an enormous proponent of the fact that so many people, when they're in their attorney, their accounting, their financial space, they sort of put on the outfit of lawyer or accountant, a financial person. Your energy is incredible. Clearly you're brilliant. And that you did with Bella was extraordinary, and tens are very rare here, truly, and really great job. So how was your time, Neha?
This was really interesting. I didn't really know what to expect, and I didn't know sort of how this was going to go. I was asked this morning to just think of a scenario, and I was struggling with what it would be, but I see the value. I didn't really even know what was going to happen. But I loved being put in a position of being judged on your ability to influence somebody on something. And I think the takeaway from here is, I act authentically in the world and on calls with clients and stuff, but it gave me a lot to think about how to speak to people and listen to people in a different manner. And this was very, very valuable.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that, Neha.
Let's go with John.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Everybody was, I like to always be learning, and I'm really watching everybody give their presentations or their questioning was, I really enjoyed the soft approach, and I may come across too hard sometimes. So I really learned a lot today by watching you all and listening to listen more and hear what people are saying. So I thought it was great.
Thank you, John. We often say having the ability to go to that place of what we refer to as Zeus energy, where there's a high degree of certainty, emphasis, clarity is vital. But knowing when and how to go there, I also think is critically important in all the facets of individual and group influence. Your energy was awesome, and thank you for being here and bringing your wisdom to the table.
Thank you.
Gary, loved hearing from you. Your approach in the very courageous and vulnerable participant seat was incredibly well received as well. 10s again are super rare. Appreciate you very, very much. Wish I met you in 2011, 12, or 13 before we were with 2 weeks to go with no expert report in the case of my life before we found somebody to help out. But how was your time, Gary, in the robot today?
It was great, and I look forward to working on with you in future. I mean, this is exactly what we do. I'm glad I got a chance to meet the people on this call. I think you're right. I think the balance of the people here on this call, it just says a lot about the people you surround yourself with. So thank you for including me.
Thank you, Gary.
And I think final would be Leia, right?
Yeah, Leia, great job. Loved the role play. I love the questions and challenges. There wasn't an easy scenario and you stepped into it. So how was your time, Leia, on the roll?
I think it was great. I've done a lot of different types of trainings. And so clearly you're a master at your craft, and I'm sure you've made an impact on well, the numbers are there, right? How many lives you probably can't even count, how many people and organizations have utilized your talent. And it's exciting to meet you. I had a great meeting with Drew last week, and I love how each connection has a ripple effect, and I get to meet more awesome people as the days go by. I felt today was powerful for everyone to take notice. It's nice watching other people in conversation and the things that you can learn from how they answer and how they interact. So I'm grateful to be here today.
Deeply received with gratitude, and Drew did a beautiful job for sure. And thank you, Leia, and everyone. And I'm going to go to Bella and final. I will say that when Bella first appeared on the Real Raw, she was a person who came from a deep sales training background, immense success. Again, first woman, youngest person ever to be #1 business broker in the state of Nevada. And I was like blown away by that appearance. And she has, since joining the team and, you know, our merging of ecosystems personally and professionally, has been just an extraordinary teacher to me as well. We have fun, we laugh, we joke continuously. I couldn't be more honored, but she brings so much magic to the world, and particularly focusing on professional women and their acceleration. So final, my friend.
I would say, you know, final, thank you. And it really truly has been an honor and a privilege to, you know, join this team. It's not very often that you're part of a company that takes you to Grand Cayman Islands for 5 days to teach group influence while you're diving 100 feet underwater and, like, you know, swimming with sharks and releasing turtles into the ocean and learning how to influence groups and audiences and speak. Absolutely. With integrity. Absolutely. Incredible. And, you know, one of the things that Sean has taught me is all business is built on shared experience. And, you know, Tony Robbins said that there's no one that leads with more heart and more integrity than Sean Callaghy. And in that integrity is, you know, we want, and because business is built on shared experience, we want to invite everyone to have shared experience with each other and with a group of like-minded individuals that are other professionals in your same field to see, you know, what is possible. So we would like to invite you all to join us for 5 days in our group huddle that Sean leads every single morning at 8:30. So you can get to know each other, get to know us a little better, and have deepen the shared experience. So there's a link in the chat to register for that. And, you know, just, it's an honor and a privilege to be here. And thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah. And we offer that because there's an intangible nature to what we do as professionals and service providers. And so to get to know each other better, that's why I make that offer. Has been until very recently only for paid clients. We have hundreds of people in our programs of all sorts of medical doctors, attorneys, accountants, financial service providers, best-selling authors, professional athletes, but we want to make that accessible for folks. So we appreciate you very, very much. Couldn't be more grateful for you being here. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm actually literally blind. So I'm physically blind, and that's ergo the unblinded, because we say people don't see what they don't see. But I do truly believe that the more we're seeking, I do think that life is about growth, loving people, continuing to accelerate, expanding our impact, even when we get beyond our financial outcomes that we seek and our time freedom. But that impact is what I think people really want. And it's a lot more available, I think, than we typically see. But I do believe, Belle, we are all blind.
And just learning to see. Bye-bye, everyone.
Have a great day.
Great day.
Great job. Thank you.